हेलो। एक मिनट। हेलो, जो भी हो देख रहे हो। हेलो हेलो। Okay. Okay. चलो एक काम करते हैं, गेम स्टार्ट कर देते हैं। एक मिनट। ये क्या वो क्या था? Anyways, चलो स्टार्ट। भाई नेक्स्ट चैप्टर खुल ही नहीं रहा है। इस गेम को क्या हो जाता है? हाँ, आ गया। शुरू करते हैं नेक्स्ट चैप्टर। आज थोड़ा कोल्ड हो रखा है तो कॉपरेट करना। हाई 3 of the heist. Okay. Gabriela's trick hadn't just activated the vault's backup security, it had also kickstarted Berlin's temper. Nairobi keeps a tight grip on Gabriela's arm as Berlin paces, his fury palpable. For the first time, Gabriela looks truly nervous. Filthy liar, tell us how to deactivate the failsafes now. The professor had warned us that the biggest threat to the heist was us, that the success of the mission depended on how we reacted when things went right, and more importantly, when things went wrong. I can't, this is a private exhibit. The owner anticipated something like this and insisted that only his external security team know how to bypass the extra layers of the protection. For Berlin, being tricked by a woman was the worst kind of wrong. I should have shot you in the head the moment you sent that text message. 5 ex-wives, 5, and I still can't help but be fooled by the lies of a woman. But no matter, if you don't have the codes, you're of no further use to me. He reaches out for his gun and Narabi rushes to stop him. So what, you're going to shoot her because you have bad taste in girlfriends? I don't think so. No, I'm going to shoot her because she's a meddling little... Enough, Berlin. Put down the gun. She looks to the rest of you for backup. Are you all just going to stand there and let him shoot a hostage? Things had definitely gone wrong and we had to decide how to react. Wait, I can fix this. Okay, I can fix this. Rio and I can get to the fail safes. We can still get the art out. That's wonderful to hear. Bolin sneers as he steadies his aim and Nairobi reaches for her gun. But I fail to see how Miss Conti here is a necessary part of the plan. Put down the gun, Berlin, now. Are you going to make me? Nairobi cocks her gun, pointing it at his spine. Yes. As Berlin and Nairobi prepared for war, I realized just how right the professor had been. If this heist ended in flames, it would be because one of us had lit the match. Alright, settle down for a moment. I know this is a party, but there's something I want to say. It was a lesson he tried to teach us just a few days prior. Oh, come on, I thought we were done with our lessons for today. The professor can't help but smile as Denver groans in annoyance. 1 minute. Okay. No more lessons for now, Denver, I promise. Please, Denver takes a large swig of his beer. I have done my best to account for every aspect of this heist, but once it begins, there is one thing I will not be able to control: you. Once you're inside the museum, every single decision you make will mean the difference between success and failure, including how you respond to one another. So yes, tonight is a party, but perhaps Denver was right, and it is also a lesson. Oh man, I knew it. Everyone laughs as the professor shakes his head. Get to know one another, not just your skills as hackers or thieves, but your personalities, your motivations. It may prove to be the most important thing you learn here. I see. Okay. That's fine with me as long as we don't have to let these pictures of sangria go to waste. The professor chuckles as you reach for a pitcher, filling yours and Kaio's cups. Please enjoy. Tonight your only job is to enjoy one another's company. Kaio grins as he clinks his glass against yours. I think we can handle that. Right, Sio? Excellent. Now I believe there is a boombox around here somewhere. Dips on picking the music. As the moon rose that night, so did our spirits, with drinks and laughter flowing. I realized this was the perfect time to get to know the team. These people were going to be beside me on the most important night of my life. It couldn't hurt to take the professor's advice and get to know them. You glance around the yard where everyone is engaged in various festivities. All I had to decide was where to begin. Check in with Kaio. Kaio के बारे में तो जानती हो. Have a drink with Denver. Dance with Nairobi. More options. Start with Nairobi, I guess. Nairobi is shimmying her way around the fire as you approach. The definition of dance, like no one is watching. She throws out her arms when she sees you, beckoning you towards her. Seoul, come dance with me. Dance? I'd love to. And I say no to dancing. You join Nairobi by the fire, letting the music move through you as you begin to match each other's tempo. I knew you'd be a good dancer. She brings her hands to your waist, pulling you to close, so close that your hips are practically fused. Is this okay? This is... क्या okay. Charmed. I'll follow as long as you can keep me on the beat. Of course, dear. Nairobi's smile grows as you follow her rhythm, moving in sync to the sultry Spanish beat. I could dance with you all night. She pulls you closer as the song draws to an end. Another? The next song is slow one, and you and Nairobi match its tempo, arms around one another. So you're a hacker, huh? What did you do before this? Mostly odd jobs, personal data, security systems, that kind of thing. Nairobi tilts her head to the side, studying you as you continue to sway to the beat. You're sweet, Seoul, and I know the professor chose you for a reason, but I can't afford to have anyone screw up this heist. Are you sure you're ready for the big time? I'm ready. I was born ready for this heist. Good, because I am going to be wearing a fabulous dress and I'd hate to have to ruin it kicking your ass. Wow. The song ends and Nairobi gives you a quick kiss on the cheek before stepping back. Thanks for the dance. Her cheeks are flushed from the movement and the fire as she smiles. I'm glad you're here. Anytime. Now I'm going to get another glass of sangria before Tokyo drinks it all. She skips away in tune to the music, her arms waving above her head. There were secrets hidden behind Nairobi's glittering smile. That much was clear, and I was determined not to let them interfere with my plans. Tokyo. Tokyo has her feet propped up on the table and a blueprint of the museum in her lap. She doesn't look up as you sit down beside her, but points to a small room on the museum's outer edge. See this? There's a sewer grate just on the other side. If things go south, we could bust through this wall and disappear before they even know we are gone. Tokyo, do you think it will go south? You should be having fun. I'm not jumping in the sewer. Why don't you stop worrying about escape plans and have some fun? The professor wants us to get to know one another, I mean. Tokyo finally pulls her attention from the blueprint and looks up at you, smirking as she swirls her glass. And how would you suggest we should do that? How about tell me something about you that no one else knows? There's no bond better than a secret. Why would I trust you with one of my secrets? Because it's only fair. Rio leans across the table to snag a churro, breaking the tension. Haven't you had about a dozen of those already? He grins as he licks the cinnamon sugar off one of his fingers. How do you think I stay so sweet? He winks as he grabs another, then turns back to the fire where Nairobi and Denver are dancing. Okay, एक minute. Done. Oof. Tokyo watches Rio walk away. There's hunger in her eyes, but also something softer. What do you think of Rio? What do I think of Rio? I'm not really into nerdy hackers. Interesting. Nerdy hackers are exactly my type. Good for you. She gives you a smirk as she stands, then struts after Rio. See you around, see you. Tokyo was a powder keg looking for a match, and I wasn't sure I wanted to be around when she finally exploded. Okay, let's go to Denver. Denver is standing by the fire as you approach, watching Nairobi and Tokyo dancing on the other side of the flames with a gloomy expression. His face transforms into a grin when he sees you walking towards him. Seoul, glad to see you're joining in the festivities. He takes a large drink of his sangria, then motions to the bottles on a chair beside him. What are you drinking? I'll have wahi de do. For me, please. This stuff is delicious. A woman after my own heart. I knew I liked you. Denver grins as he fills a glass for you, then tops off his own. To our brilliant new hackers, Seoul. Denver holds your gaze as the two of you touch glasses, grinning. So, are you having a good time? Well, it's nice to be out of the city for a change. It's easier to concentrate without all the noise. You only say that because you haven't been here very long. Trust me, it gets boring fast. Denver grins as he swings his arm around your shoulders, giving you a friendly squeeze. Although I'm definitely not bored tonight, it's nice to have some new blood around here. He smiles at you, but there's a hint of melancholy in his normally playful eyes. What about you? Are you having a good time? I am, or at least I am trying to. It's just. He shifts his weight nervously, chewing on his bottom lip. Do you ever feel like your past is one wrong move away from ruining your future? Me? Not really. My past has already ruined so much. I am not going to let it dictate my future too. Denver nods seriously. That's admirable. I wish I could say the same. I knew that if I really wanted to get to know the team better, this was my chance. Do you want to talk about it? Denver sighs, taking his arm from your shoulders and showing his hands in his pockets as he turns to face you. It's embarrassing, really. It's not like I did something impressive and now the police are after me. That would at least make for a cool story. You stay silent as Denver takes deep breath, sensing that he's working his way up to the truth. It's not even my fault. A lot of guys sell pills and I was doing it for a good reason. How was I supposed to know some losers would steal them if I left them in my car? He lets out a long breath, staring into the fire. Or maybe I'm the loser. I had never seen Denver look so glum. After the pills were stolen, I mean. Oh, Denver sighs again, shrugging. Nothing yet, but the thug made it very clear that if his goons ever get their hands on me, I'll never walk again. Yikes. Denver shakes his head and his worries seem to slip from his shoulders. But enough about that. This is a party. I shouldn't be bumming you out. Hey, I know. Why don't we play a game? A game? He glances around the yard. We don't have enough empty cups for Pong. How about never have I ever? He wiggles his eyebrows suggestively. You can tell me all your secrets. Never have I ever? Okay. Denver rubs his hands excitedly. Alright, you first. Never have I ever mobster after me. Someone named Denver met someone with your laugh. First one. Denver winces as he takes a sip. Hello, Nainda, welcome to the stream. Kaise ho? Look who's here. Ouch, low blow. Denver quits screwing Moscow. Quit screwing around and come help me with these plans. Denver groans as he sets down his glass. Sorry, my papa can be a real hard ass when he's in study mode. He squeezes your arm before jogging off towards the house, shooting one last smile over his shoulder. See you later, Sue. I was glad to have someone who laughed so easily on the team, but as I watched Denver go, I hoped that his levity would be an asset, not an issue. Chalo, let's go to Cargo now. The night was young, and while my new acquaintances were intriguing, I found myself drawn to the comfort of a familiar face. Kayo is sprawled out on his back on the grass, staring up at the night sky. क्या हुआ? ये यहाँ एक कैफे खुला है, चलोगे? तुम जाओ, तुम्हारे वहाँ पे खुला है. He rises to his elbows when you approach, smiling. Having fun? And now, being with you is always a good time. Kayo grins as you take a seat on the grass beside him. What about the time we had to hide in that seafood truck for 3 hours until the security guard left? He shudders at the memory and you wrinkle your nose. I still can't look at a tuna without feeling nauseated. You both laugh as you turn your gaze towards the sky. Remember when we used to do this as kids? We'd make up names for all the other universes out there and what we would be doing if we weren't stuck on Earth. You were always some kind of space pirate, and you always had a family. He sighs, keeping his gaze trained on the stars. I keep thinking about what's going to happen when this is over, when you finally have what you want. What do you mean? We've been friends as long as I can remember, Sio. But for the past few years, this plan, taking back what's yours, it's all we've talked about. I know. I never meant to let it become so all-consuming. I'm sorry. You don't have to be sorry. I understand. I want this as badly as you do. I just... Vulnerability cracks through his words as he finally turns back to you, the weight of his emotions in his eyes. I'm just scared that when this is over, you aren't going to need me anymore. Kayo. Are selecting you are my best friend, Kayo, my family. Chalo bhai, काम आ गया, okay. I am always going to need you, no matter how many heists we pull off. Kayo lets out a small sigh of relief, but his brow is still creased. You're your best friend, huh? Of course. You and I know better than anyone that life is unpredictable, but you being my best friend is something I'm certain will never change. Kayo nods slowly, his smile finally reaching his eyes. You're my best friend too, always. The sound of Denver's loud laugh bounces across the grass and Cairo clears his throat. Anyway, we should probably get back to the party. Get to know the others and all that, like the professor said. He jumps gracefully to his feet and extends his hand to you with an uncertain smile. May I escort you back to the party? Aye, go ahead. I'm going to stay here for a minute. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Go ahead, I'm going to stay here for a minute. Shrugs reluctantly, then begins to make his way back towards the fire. As I watched the flames cast shadows across the sharp angles of Cairo's face, I couldn't help but worry about what I'd gotten into him. Sit by the fire with Rio. Proceed with the evening. चलो Rio से बात नहीं हुई करते हैं. Rio is lounging by the fire when you approach, a beer in his hand. Well, if it isn't my fellow hacker. He smiles as you sit beside him, but he seems tense. Sizing up the competition? Come on, Rio. Why compete against each other when we can work together? Rio lets out a loud sigh of relief. I couldn't agree more. Honestly, it's a relief to have another techie around. The rest of the team is not overly familiar with computers. Oh, I know. When we first got here, Moscow asked me if I deleted all the MapQuest data from my computer so we couldn't be traced. Rio lets out a snort of laughter, shaking his head. That sounds like Moscow. The two of you sit in comfortable silence for a few moments before Rio motions to the targets a few feet away. Tokyo's been helping me with my aim. I don't have as much practice as most of the others. He looks down at the ground, slightly embarrassed by his admission. I should probably be practicing right now. Hmm. I'm not sure you should be handling a gun when you have been drinking. Leo's face turns red as he motions to the beer bottle, and you notice that he's peeled the label off. Please don't tell the others, but it doesn't have any alcohol in it. I get a terrible headache while I drink too much, and this close to the heist. He looks up at you waiting for your response. Oreo, your secret is safe. Don't worry, Oreo. Your secret is safe with me. I don't want to know that Tokyo would do with this. Okay, what Tokyo would do with this information? I didn't think it was possible for your cheeks to get any redder, but somehow they do. She would never let me live it down. I'm gonna see if any of the churros manage to escape Denver. I'll see you in a bit. You laugh as his stomach lets out a rumble. Better hurry. Your brow furrows as you watch him walk away. There was no doubt that Rio was sweet, but too much sugar can give you a toothache. Proceed with the evening. As the night wore on, I found myself at the edge of the fire, watching the others converse. A real band of misfits, aren't they? Berlin's sidles up beside you, nodding his head towards the rest of the team. I admit that when this heist was first conceived, I assumed my colleagues would be a bit more professional, didn't you? Berlin's disdain for the others was flagrant despite being on the same side. All I care about is whether or not they can get the job done, and as far I can tell, that won't be an issue. Berlin smirks as he reaches out to pinch your cheek. So naive. Tell me, do you think Rome fell because its people were bad at their jobs? No, it fell because of ego. Because the only things mankind is good for are trickery and greed. Having fun, you two. The officer walks up to you and Berlin with three bubbling glasses of champagne. He gives Berlin a warning glance as he hands one to each of you. Oh, Professor, this is the good stuff. Nairobi and Tokyo make their way towards you, their glasses already drained. Rio, Denver, and Cairo are not far behind. Ah, yes, I had been hoping to save it for a toast. Oh, shoot, sorry, Professor. Here, we'll use this. She grabs a pitcher of sangria from the table and quickly refills her and Tokyo's glasses. There we go. Now, what are we toasting to? The professor turns to you, holding up his glass. Seoul. As one of our newest members, would you like to do the honors? Of course, here's to the team. Here's to the savviest group of misfits I've ever met. You give Berlin a wink as you raise your glass, and he rolls his eyes. I may not have known you very long, but there's no other group I'd rather pull off this heist beside. Salute. As we raise our glasses under the stars, hope and excitement ran through us like an electric current. एक मिनट हाँ Okay, sorry, मेरा आंखों में कुछ चला गया था. Okay. None of us could have predicted the storm that would break just 72 hours later. After you have the heist back to the museum. We all know what needs to be done, but the rest of you are too preoccupied with your made up moral codes to admit it. Watching Berlin and Nairobi point their guns at one another, it was clear that whatever lesson the professor had hoped we would learn that night at the Toledo house had failed. Killing an innocent hostage is not part of the plan, Berlin. Period. And what do you think would have happened if the geeks had been so preoccupied with their plans that they hadn't built this Trojan horse? Improvisation is the lifeblood of war. War and you are definitely not Odysseus. Berlin whips his gun in your direction, scowling. That's enough. In case you've forgotten, I'm in charge here. As if conjured by Berlin's declaration of command, the professor chose that moment on radio in. To radio in, okay? Seoul, please put me on with Berlin only right away. I have urgent news. Hello, Professor. There's a bit of situation here. Gabriela Conti gave us false information about how to access the vault, and there are mixed feelings about how to deal with her. I know exactly how to deal with her. Some of you are just too cowardly to admit it. I think you mean some of us haven't lost our minds. Professor, he wants to shoot a hostage. That's enough. Seoul, connect me to Berlin only immediately. Right away, Professor. I knew the professor had his reasons for wanting to speak to Berlin alone, but I wasn't sure I could trust him. Don't eavesdrop. Yes. You quickly ensure that Berlin and the professor are securely connected, then not to Berlin. It's just the two of you now. Excellent. Go ahead, Professor. Hello, Matt. Welcome to the stream. You watch in silence as Berlin speaks to the professor, his expression slipping from surprise to confusion. What? Are you sure? I understand. Of course not. Berlin disconnects from the professor and turns to Gabriela with a taunting smile. It's your lucky day, Miss Conti. It looks like you'll be allowed to live for now. He finally stows his gun, turning to the rest of you. Nairobi, as you were so concerned with Miss Conti's well-being, you take her to join Mr. Sato in my office. I'm late. Pata nahi. Send Denver to guard the rest of the hostages and change into those extra jumpsuits while you're at it. We need to make it clear that we are a united front, Bape. As for the rest of you, get ready. We have a new guest to welcome. Oh, कोई join करने वाला है. Guns loaded. You make your way to the museum's lobby. Are you going to tell us what's going on, or are we just supposed to shoot first and ask questions later? Berlin straightens the collar of his new jumpsuit, making sure his holster is in place. The police have decided to send in a negotiator, a hotshot politician who thinks he can ensure our peaceful surrender. Oh, really? कैसे हो? ठीक हो? कोल हो रखा है. बापरे. A ripple of surprise runs to you as the rest of the gang looks to one another in confusion. Outside interference was never part of the plan. Why is the professor allowing this? Plans have changed. The professor believes this man will be useful. Kaio moves closer to you, lowering his voice so only you can hear. Thank you, thank you. I don't like this. Why didn't the professor want us to hear what he said to Berlin? I don't know. If this is his plan, I'm sure it'll be fine. I wish I shared your optimism. The sudden blare of a police horn cuts through the lobby, and you all turn towards the doors. It's time. Position, everyone. We expect our demons to be made of fire and brimstone, showing up in our nightmares and the shadowy concerns of our minds. Berlin nods to Rio, and you point your gun at the door as he pushes the button to unlock it. But my demon sauntered through the front door in a well-pressed suit. Good evening. Adrian Abarca, the man who murdered my family. Oh my god. अच्छा ये है वो. Adrian. 5 items मिले. Ooh, yay. एक ये, एक ये, एक ये, एक ये, एक ये. Ooh. बढ़िया, yes. अभी बहुत सारी मिलना बाकी है. ये क्यों भौंक रहा है पता नहीं. चलो नेक्स्ट चैप्टर. भाई आजा. हाँ. अरे क्यों है भाई, कौन आया है, क्यों भौंक रहा है ये इतना. चुप. Backlit by the police's flashing lights, Adrian's features were blurry but unmistakable. My nightmares had come to life. A cool breeze follows him inside, prickling the hair on your arms and forcing you from your memories. Spread him. Adrian's face is serene as he obediently holds out his arms, seemingly unaffected by the half-dozen guns pointed at him. Tokyo pats him down slowly, taking her time. Feels like someone knows their way around a way. I prefer Krav Maga actually. I'll have to keep an extra close watch on you then, won't I? Tokyo winks and Adrian gives her a politician's smile before turning towards the rest of the room. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Thank you for allowing me inside. You freeze as his eyes land on you, but he quickly moves on, continuing to scan the room. There was no awareness of who I was in his eyes, no hint of recognition, but that didn't matter. I remembered enough for the both of us. As Adrian smiled at Berlin, feeling re-entered my body, and I remembered the gun in my hand. Stay calm. Fighting the urge to react to his presence, you remain still. Unaware of your emotional turmoil, Berlin turns to Adrian with a smile, spreading his arms wide. Welcome to my museum, Mr. Abarca, Adrian Abarca. Berlin smiles, but you notice that his eyes narrow slightly. Of course, I remember watching when you won your first election, March of 1988, was it? What an excellent memory. The two men are the same height and close in age. As they shake hands, you can't help but think that in a different setting, they might have been friends. So, what would you like to do first, Mr. Abarca? A self-guided audio tour? A trip to the sculpture garden? Adrian's smile gives way to a face of stone, as if he suddenly remembered why he's here. I need to ensure that no hostages were wounded when shots were fired earlier and report back to the police at once. Berlin shrugs as Adrian steps to his side. A bit boring, but I suppose we can save the fun for later. You'll find that all of our hostages are in excellent condition right this way. When I was 6 years old, my father took me to the Museo del Prado in Madrid. He wanted me to see one of his favorite paintings, Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights. As you follow Berlin into the gala hall, jaw clenched, you keep your eyes fixed on Adrian. The left side of the painting showed people in a serene Garden of Eden, while the right was a chaotic portrayal of hell. As if he can feel the weight of your stare, Adrian glances in your direction and gives you a wide smile. My father told me that Bosch wanted to show how easy it was to slip from eternal paradise into eternal flames. I don't believe we have had the pleasure. It's lovely to meet you. You force down your hatred and keep your voice steady. Seoul. Wonderful to meet you, Sir. Staring at Adrian, I was beginning to feel like I had fallen into the flames. You left the police force years ago. You're a politician now, not a hostage negotiator. How wonderful. He turns to Berlin with a smirk. I didn't realize she was a fan. You grit your teeth as he simpers. My official tenure with the police may be over, but I like to stay involved. This museum means a lot to me, so when I heard it had been occupied, I volunteered to step into my old role. A patron of the arts. You and I have that in common. He smiles as you reach the gala hall, holding out his hand for Adrian to proceed. Please make yourself acquainted with the rest of our guests. His smile fades as he turns to you. Seoul, a moment please. He gestures towards one of the small alcoves and you reluctantly follow. I assume you know what this is about. I had clearly done something to raise Berlin's suspicions. I needed to play it cool. How would I know? I am a hacker, not a mind reader. Berlin narrows his eyes. Yes, well, it wouldn't take a mind reader to notice your obvious distaste for our new guest. Oh, if there's something I need to know about your relationship to Mr. Abarca, now is the time to share it. Berlin. Isn't that enough of a reason to dislike him? Berlin chuckles and suspicion in his eyes easing slightly. An interesting point. Still, I cannot allow any personal feelings to get in the way of our plans. कौन है भाई? निमा एक मिनट रुको. So sorry, mom का call आया था. Mr. Abarka is a key pawn in this game of chess. Understood? It was clear the professor had let Adrian inside for a reason. But what could a murderer like him have to do with the plan? Okay. You don't have to worry. I would never put the plan at risk. That's music to my ears. Berlin turns towards the main gala hall. But then wait a minute, guys. But then pauses as if reconsidering. Right? ठीक है. Berlin turns towards the main gala hall, but then pauses as if reconsidering. Screw this up, and I'll send you out to the cops on one of Denver's silver platters in pieces. Before the weight of his threat can sink in, Berlin pushes past you, greeting the rest of the gala hall with smile. Welcome back, Bape. Adrian looks like he's walking the catwalk as he waltzes around the room. The hostages rise to greet him, their ties undone and high heels cast aside. Excuse me, sorry. मैंने म्यूट करने की कोशिश की, हुआ ही नहीं. बापरे, मैं तो कुछ क्लीनिंग भी नहीं किया 2 दिन से. पता नहीं क्यों इतना कोल्ड रखा है. बापरे. Mr. Abarka, thank God you're here. It's wonderful to see you all, circumstances aside. Berlin narrows his eyes as he follows close behind, clearly irritated by all the adoration Adrian is garnering. By the rules of the painting my father had shown me, Adrian should have been drowning in flames, not shaking hands and kissing babies. As I watched him float through the hall, his loyal patron smiling under his spell, my stomach turned. Seoul. I think I'm going to be sick. Without another word, you turn and run to the nearest bathroom. In the quiet of the museum's ornate bathroom, you take a deep breath, flinching when you hear the door open. Leave me alone, Berlin. But you turn to find Cairo standing at the door, his expression filled with concern. Hey, it's just me. I don't think I could handle talking to anyone else right now. Cairo smiles gently as he joins you at the sink. If you need a shoulder to cry on, I'm here. Thanks, but that murderer shouldn't be allowed to just waltz in here like he owns the place. Tayo looks into the mirror, making eye contact with your reflection. Talk to me. What are you thinking? I'd accept that Adrian would always haunt my nightmares, but to see him here, you let out a shaky breath. Maybe we should try to look at this as a good thing. What are you talking about? If anyone knows where the teapot is hidden, it's Adrian. You sigh as you turn to face Kaio, his face creased with empathy. I was there that night too. Sio, I know how hard this is. His words brought back another memory I'd spent years trying to repress. Kaio's small hand taking mine, silently leading me away from parents, dead bodies, and through the back door before Adrian could find me. Two children whose lives had just been changed forever. I understand how you're feeling, but you have to stay calm. I just don't know how to process this. I was 3 feet away from him. He looked right at me and he ruined my entire life, but he has no idea who I am. You sigh, staring up at the ceiling. Why does he get to grow old when my parents didn't? You meet Kaio's eyes, filled with a sadness that mirrors your own. You're right, it isn't fair. It's not. I just wish they could see me now. I know we are breaking like 100 laws by being here, but I really think that they would be proud of us. Kaio smiled softly. They would. You take a deep breath, clarity beginning to surface from beneath your emotions. It can't be a coincidence that he showed up to negotiate the release of hostages who were participating in an illegal auction of his items. He must be trying to keep whatever his involvement is here under wraps, or keep us from finding something in his vault. Whatever it is, we need to keep a closer watch on Adrian. I agree, but to do that, we can't let on that anything is wrong. He searches your face, his eyes creased with concern. Can you handle going back in there? I knew that if I was going to make it through, I had no choice but to face Adrian once more. I don't have a choice. I have to do this for them. As we made our way back to the gala hall, preparing to face Adrian once more, I was consumed by a new motivation. Adrian had escaped his fate so far, but I vowed that his judgment day was coming. हाँ, एक और चैप्टर हो गया, पर कुछ मिला ही नहीं। Okay guys, ये कोल्ड की वजह से ज़्यादा मैं बोल भी नहीं पा रही हूँ। तो नेक्स्ट हम आई थिंक चैप्टर 8 है नेक्स्ट, वो हम कल कंटिन्यू करते हैं। यस, चैप्टर 8। मुझे देखना भी पड़ेगा कि कितने चैप्टर्स बचे हैं अभी। वो शायद दिखेगा नहीं ना मेन मेनू में, नहीं कुछ है ही नहीं। चलो एनीवेज, मिलता है कल के स्ट्रीम में। इसमें दिखेगा क्या? चैप्टर 8 है, कितना है वो दिखाओ भाई। 20 चैप्टर्स। हम अभी चैप्टर 8 में हैं। सो वी आर लेफ्ट विद 13 मोर चैप्टर्स। हो जाएगा। आई मीन आज थर्सडे है ना, कल क्या बोलते हैं, 2 चैप्टर्स करेंगे यार। देखते हैं कल अगर जल्दी स्टार्ट किया मैंने तो विल ट्राई टू कंप्लीट टिल 10। सो 3 चैप्टर्स कंप्लीट कर देंगे।
फिर 10 बचेगा जो नेक्स्ट वीक करेंगे। सो वैसे डिवाइड करके नेक्स्ट वीक एंड तक ये कंप्लीट कर देंगे। सो कल 3 चैप्टर्स होगा एंड मंडे से 2-2 चैप्टर करेंगे, फ्राइडे तक ख़त्म। चलो आज के लिए इतना ही, मिलते हैं कल की स्ट्रीम पे। बाय बाय। या मुझे गुड नाइट बोलने की इतनी आदत हो गया ना, मैं अभी गुड नाइट ही बोलने वाली थी। चलो गाइस, या मिलते हैं।